A few of us at ESSEC for some time now have been working on issues that have to do with business in society and business and society, the interactions between firms and other parts of society, civil society, politics, governments, etc. And for many years we realized that within ESSEC we're quite an important group of people interested by those issues, and as you know also those issues are becoming more and more important ever since the crisis of the last few years. It seems that those issues are taking a greater significance and should have a greater place in business schools and business school settings. So a few years ago, some of us decided that it could be a nice idea to actually formalize collaborations between ourselves across disciplinary boundaries to discuss and talk about those issues and to have a setting where we could organize common projects and common discussions on those topics. So that's how the first ideas of the center came into being. Then we started discussing that with the head of the research center, who thought it was a good idea, and then we moved on to the practical organization of the center with the idea of creating really an intellectual hub within ESSEC around those issues, where we would exchange, but also a kind of centrally visible a group of people within ESSEC who would be then in contact with people outside ESSEC to, go on discussing and trying to approach those issues in a more systematic manner. There are a few sets of questions that we are interested in. Those, again, are connected to the types of work we've been doing for some of us individually and even sometimes collectively, actually, in common projects already in the past. So the first important question has to do with the nature of capitalism. What is capitalism? And in particular, what is the particular form of capitalism that we live in today and for the last 30 or 40 years or so, which is a particular form, really, of capitalism. So understanding the dynamics of this type of capitalism is an important dimension and an important project for the center. Another important dimension of the center's preoccupation has to do with globalization and the impact that globalization is having on not only business but also society in general. And a third dimension of the center and preoccupations of the center, which was more closely connected to the seminar we organized on socially responsible investment, has to do with the social responsibility of business in the context of globalization and globalized capitalism. So this is really a very important dimension. And finally, the broad issue of governance, whether it's corporate governance, the governance of the global firm, but also the governance of globalized capitalism, global governance as another big theme that we want to explore in the center. So those are the four main dimensions that we want to explore in that center. As you can see, those are not simple and easy questions, either of them, and those are, by nature, fundamentally transdisciplinary questions. When we are talking about globalization, we are talking about the firm as a whole, within an environment that is multidimensional, that is naturally changes in the economy, in the geo-economy, but also changes in the geopolitical environment of the firm are very important. Cultural transformations are very important. Even religious and ethical developments are very important in the picture of the globalized world. So by nature, the topics are transdisciplinary. So it's very important that around the table we have a transdisciplinary team of scholars. And this goes actually beyond simply business and management scholars. I think to be really able to bring forward satisfactory answers and satisfactory readings of this contemporary situation, you have to have other social scientists beyond, and even maybe not only social scientists actually around the table. So not only business and management scholars, but also anthropologists, also historians, philosophers, sociologists, etc., etc. The idea of the center, and this is something that I'm really hoping will happen, is not to be a top-down structure. It really is kind of conceived as a hub, as I said before. And the idea is that within that hub, we can actually generate initiatives. To give you an example, we are planning for next year, one of the big activities of the center next year will be the organization of a conference in Singapore. And the theme of that conference is globalization and the return of geography. So you see, I forgot geographers, but we will actually want to have geographers around the table next year around that topic. And this is coming from discussions I've had with a young colleague, a young faculty member, who is now based in Singapore, and talking about his intellectual centers of interest and some of the questions I've been working with. We came up with this idea that it would be very interesting to have a conference on that topic. As I said before, one of the dimensions we want to explore is the social responsibility of business. And the social responsibility of business is indeed a really important topic today. And within that context, there are several debates that go around in academic communities, but there's been really quite a bit of interesting work and interesting intellectual developments around socially responsible investments, and all the more that, you know, the interesting side of socially responsible investment is that it's really at the borderline between the corporate world and the financial world. So I think it's really particularly interesting for a business school to kind of focus on that. It turns out also that those are also, again, a bit the chance happenings of life that I had met last summer. Fabrizio Ferraro and Daniel Bunza, who were presenting one of the papers at our seminar. I had met them at a conference, and they had presented a paper that is related to the project that they talked about this time too. And I found it extremely interesting, all the more that one of my PhD students, Afshin Merpuya, had just finished his PhD, and one of his papers was on a topic that was highly complementary on socially responsible investment, the socially responsible investment field. So putting those two papers together and seeing how they could benefit from meeting, actually, and talking to each other, started this idea in my head to build a half day around this topic. And then suddenly I realized that actually it was very simple to find 5 papers that would actually talk to each other. And the authors, some of them knew each other, but did not necessarily have the opportunity to talk to each other about those issues before in a kind of organized setting. So I think that was actually very useful also for them to be able to exchange on those topics in such a setting.